And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Now, I'm not Keir Starmer's biggest fan, I think you all know that by now. However, I do have to stand in there and call out BS when people come onto live television, mainly woke lefties, race baiters like the individual that we've got today, calling his speech that he made 2 or 3 days ago racist. Yes, a Labour MP comes onto live television in a debate and says what Keir Starmer's speech, again, is apparently racist. Now, just for the record, I don't think Keir Starmer is the man to stop immigration, nor do I think he's the man to stop illegal immigration. Again, I hate the guy, I know. But, of course, I do have to stand in there and say that his speech was not racist whatsoever, and this Labour MP is chatting absolute nonsense. Let's watch and react to this debate, but as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more British content. Have a watch of this.
We saw last summer where a hotel that houses asylum seekers and migrants was literally set on fire. Okay. So words have consequences, and the Prime Minister, in not apologising and retracting that for me is really concerning.
Alex Phillips, a foghorn to the far right, what do you think?
No, absolutely not. We've been long overdue having this discussion about immigration. It's great to actually see a Prime Minister grabbing the nettle and talking about it. And I think if we start obsessing too much over hypersensitivity over certain words, could they have had a genesis in this particular speech? What we need to be looking at is the detail of what is being proposed here, whether it's going to actually manifest the solutions that this country so desperately needs, rather than constantly go and having this debate about you can't say this, that's taboo, this is far right, this is extreme right. I just think it's deeply unhelpful.
Language does matter, though, particularly when you're a politician.
But I don't see anything wrong in anything that he said,
that's
quite
fine.
frankly.
I was just asking you.
Farage does, interestingly, and this is his political hero that we're talking about, Enoch Powell. Even he called it divisive.
Nigel Farage did tell Nick Watt last night on Newsnight it was a big mistake to echo the language of Enoch Powell.
I mean, if he says he doesn't echo the language of Enoch Powell, he doesn't. This is a speech that was made decades ago, frankly
and led
speaking.
to violence in our streets. There were racist murders that took place.
You know,
it had consequences. He was kicked out of the party.
We can find parallels all the time.
And
something someone says today and something someone may or may not have said before, and whether or not that was intentional. I just think it's a huge distraction technique, and it adds to what has compacted the whole conversation over immigration.
Calling
for
racism
so long.
a distraction tactic is highly offensive.
Hold on, I'm not saying racism distraction tactic. No, Zara, what I'm saying
is racist.
What I'm saying, it's not racist. How is the language racist?
So saying migrants.
The word migrant is racist?
No, migrants are strangers in a society. We are becoming an island of strangers.
But why is that racist? Explain to me what about that is hateful about somebody's colour of skin when you say that people coming into a country who've not integrated are
These
strangers
are doctors,
to one
nurses,
another.
teachers, people driving our buses.
People who have come into the country who have not integrated, who can't speak the English language, will not be able to build societal connections and friendships with their neighbours.
Which migrants are you referring to that haven't integrated? Because the migrants that I know that teach our kids, feed our communities,
right, okay, but you can go to,
Can I just inject
to neighbourhoods in Leicestershire where more than 50% of people don't speak English. These people exist.
So fund ESOL classes.
Sorry, Zara Sultan, I'm so sorry. Just to put some facts in here, almost 1 million migrants in the UK don't speak English. As you know, one of the announcements yesterday were measures to raise the requirement levels for English. Wouldn't most people see that as sensible?
I think that's important, but
So you agree with that?
I grew up seeing ESOL classes funded, but those were slashed under austerity. I saw youth centres and community centres supporting integration and
Keir Starmer says he's bringing that back.
But it's also coated with all of this rhetoric that is highly divisive. When Lord Alf Dubs is calling it out, you know that you've got a problem. When Nigel Farage is distancing himself from that language, you know you've got a problem.
Alex Phillips, will these immigration measures, leave the language to one side, although that may be relevant to the question that I'm asked, will these immigration measures appeal to those tempted by reform?
Look, I think people have been waiting, particularly those who are tempted by reform, because I think Nigel Farage is synonymous with controlling borders, that I think people
Although he's never had to do it.
Well, no, exactly, that is true. And actually the devil in the detail, whether this particular white paper has got the detail in there that's going to make these things actualised, I don't know. I'm very doubtful. But is the fact that this is being addressed by a Prime Minister positive for those people who are concerned about the extremely high levels of immigration? Yes, but I don't think there are many people out there who would trust Sir Keir Starmer with this issue, given his hinterland, frankly, and some of the things he has said himself on the topic of immigration. And so I don't think people are going to be listening to this and going, that's it, brilliant, I'm going to go back, people in the red wall, and I'm going to vote Labour because of this conversation.
But if it does reduce net migration substantially?
Well, I don't think even the projection in this white paper is that it would cut net inward migration by 100,000, and the ONS recently at one point
it would cut visas actually by 100,000.
Up their figures from just over 300,000 to 500,000, and so I don't think it's going to have a particularly tangible impact to a level that people go, brilliant, this is now the solution to the problem.
Do you think that the Prime Minister does need to deliver on this? Because it was something in the Labour manifesto, which you stood on.
We currently have a labour shortage in social care of over 130,000. To meet the Labour Party, the Labour government's targets of house building, you need 250,000 construction workers. We have an ageing population, we have a declining birth rate. Yeah. If we don't have an honest conversation about migrant labour shortages and how we need that to fund our to have public services actually functioning, then we are lying to the public, and that's what politicians haven't done.
What they would say is there are 9 million people in the country economically inactive, and the plan is, they say, to bring some of those people back into the workforce.
But I didn't hear much about the training, the investment to actually train and recruit from British workers and that population that you refer to. What we saw was a desperate attempt to appeal to a demographic that the party thinks that it needs, given the election results that we saw. And in fact, we're not having an honest conversation about the importance of immigration to actually have public services, construction, social care and our NHS fit and working for all of our communities.
Okay.
I don't even think she believes what she's saying. She's talking absolute nonsense, isn't she? I mean, I love how they come on there and do the old classic race baiting, where they try and say that everything is racist. So something that happens that's not even offensive. Nothing was offensive by that, but they always be able to take it and just say that it's racist and just go and run with that sort of rhetoric. It's always the same. It's how they lose arguments, essentially. It's basically a way for them to shut down something and say that something's racist. You've probably had a conversation with someone before, and then they just go, oh, you're racist. What did I say that was racist? It's the same thing with that. And again, Keir Starmer's probably, again, I'm standing up for Keir Starmer. And again, just for the thing, by the way, I don't think he's the guy, of course, to stop this. However, for her to say that what he said was racist is genuinely mind-boggling. It really is. It's a weird world that we're in now. We're midway through 2025, and we're starting to hear Keir Starmer being dubbed as racist from the left. It just goes to show how mentally ill the left actually are with these sorts of subjects. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on that one down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.